Good morning, Grace and friends. Today's sermon is about wrestling with God, with life, with self. Many times underneath our serene surface, a wrestling is going on. It's like what is called the duck syndrome. On the surface, the duck glides along. Underneath, the webbed feet are paddling as fast as they can. In our text today, Jacob is at the river Jabbok wrestling with God. Or was it an angel? Or was it with himself? Sometimes they are all rolled up together. Growing up, I was introduced to Jacob with this child's song. Who was born a twin many years ago? Who was born a twin? Tell me if you know. Jacob was his name, Esau was his brother, Isaac was his dad, Rebekah was his mother. It turned out to be a pretty dysfunctional family. From his birth, Jacob was a striver, a cheat, a deceiver. He was born a twin, but born second, which gave great advantages to his twin brother Esau. Special honor and double the material benefits went to the firstborn. The advantages given the firstborn were so considerable that when twins were born, a midwife would tie a red thread around the wrist of the firstborn so they would not be confused. Jacob was born clutching the heel of his brother. To hold another's heel is to try to trip them up, to supplant them. Jacob's very name means heel holder, and it became his destiny. You may remember the stories of how Jacob cheated his brother first out of his birthright and then out of his blessing. One afternoon, Esau came in from hunting, famished for supper. Jacob, helping his mother cook in the kitchen, offered this bargain. If you give me your birthright, I'll give you this bowl of stew. Esau hungrily agreed, and it was only later, his stomach full, that he realized he had been tricked. Jacob's mother, Rebekah, favored him and believed Jacob was the one who really deserved the birthright and blessing. So she coached Jacob in another act of deceit. Old, almost blind father Isaac said to Esau, "Go, kill some game, make me a stew, bring it to me, and I'll give you the father's blessing." Later that day, Jacob came into Isaac's room carrying a steaming bowl of stew disguised as Esau. He wore Esau's clothes so he would smell like Esau, and furry animal skins on his arms so he would be hairy like his brother. Duped by his son, Isaac gave the blessing due Esau to Jacob. It was something that could not be undone. Later, Esau would cry out, "Father, do you have but one blessing to give?" When Esau heard what had happened, he vowed to kill his brother, and mother Rebekah helped Jacob escape the home and go to another country. Jacob, the cheat, the imposter, fled. His whole life was built on bargaining for grace. He may have suffered what psychologists call the imposter syndrome. If people really knew me, we say, I wouldn't be here. Or if they really knew me, they wouldn't love me. Fast forward. Jacob traveled to Haran, where he met a wealthy landowner and married both his daughters in sequence, first Leah, then Rachel. Between them and their maidservants, Jacob fathered 12 sons, who became the 12 tribes of Israel. Just your traditional biblical family unit. a con artist, had become the father of the 12 tribes of Israel. Jacob, now wealthy with 2 wives and a caravan of goods, left Haran to return home and to his brother Esau. Did his soul ache for reunion and reconciliation? As he made his way home, he heard that Esau was coming to meet him with 400 men. Scared for his life, Jacob sent ahead a caravan of riches for his brother. Was he hoping to appease his brother's anger? Was it a peace offering of penitence? Jacob arrived at the river Jabbok near dark and sent his wives and servants on ahead. Then he sat by the river alone. As he waded into the water, something or someone hit him. He may have wondered for a moment whether it was the mythic river god he'd heard stories about. Then they began to wrestle. All night long they wrestled. Our Genesis text calls his opponent a man. Later scripture called him an angel. After the battle, Jacob said it was God. But when he entered the stream that night, he did not know what in heaven's name or hell's had hold of him. They wrestled till dawn. At some moments, Jacob thought he was winning, but as night began to turn to day, his opponent reached out and merely touched his hip and wrenched it out of socket. Jacob knew then that that man could have vanquished him at any moment. Life can be like that. We think we have it under control, and then chaos hits. The other said to Jacob, "Let me go, it is daybreak." Jacob said, "I will not let you go until you bless me." The other said, "What is your name?" "My name is Jacob," Jacob said. "Remember, heel holder, hustler, cheat?" Then the other said, "Your name shall be Israel now, for you have striven with God and have lived." "What is your name?" Jacob asked. "Why do you wish to know?" said the other. Then blessed him and vanished. The other didn't give him his name, but Jacob realized that the one he had hold of and who had hold of him, the one who had blessed him, was God. Jacob named the place Peniel, which means, "I have seen God face to face and lived." The episode ends with these words: "As the sun rose, Jacob passed Peniel, limping on his hip." What can we make of such a mysterious and powerful story? It is for me a wrestling with God, with life, with my own self. Some days we wrestle with God or what we've been taught about God. Sometimes reading the Bible is a wrestling. As I begin to prepare my sermon early each week, it is like a wrestling with Scripture. I say to the text, "I will not let you go until you bless me." And then I try to pass along the blessing I've received. Once in a while, midweek, I say, "This is not going to work," and I hunt another text. Sometimes we wrestle with God, the God we've been taught. Sometimes we wrestle with life. Sometimes we wrestle with ourselves, trying to find our truest self, hunting for a blessing. When tragedy strikes, for us or for those we love, we may shake our fists at God. Why, we ask? The Bible is full of such fist-shaking moments. Beset by unrelenting calamity, Jacob shouts to God, "You are using me for target practice." I've quoted Elie Wiesel a number of times, the Holocaust survival and Nobel Prize winner. I did last week. As a boy, he was in a concentration camp at Auschwitz. He watched his parents dragged away to be executed. He, as many Jews after the Holocaust, questioned the existence of God or of a good God. God had not kept God's promises. In 1997, as the Jewish High Holy Days were about to begin, he wrote a letter to God in the New York Times. A Prayer for the Days of Awe was the title. It is an extraordinary letter from one who had wrestled with God for so many years. Here is some of it. Master of the universe, let us make up. It is time. How long have we to go on being angry? More than 50 years have passed since the night where nightmare was lifted. Many things have happened, good and less good, to those who survived it. They learned to build on ruins. Family life was recreated. Gratitude has replaced bitterness in their hearts. What about my faith in you, Master of the universe? I now realize that I never lost it, not even there during the darkest hours of my life. I don't know why I kept whispering the daily prayers and those reserved for the Sabbath, but I did recite them, often with my father and with hundreds of others at Auschwitz. In my testimony, I've written burning words, harsh words about your role in our tragedy. I would not repeat them, but I felt them then. Where were you, God of kindness, at Auschwitz? Watching your children suffer at the hands of your other children, haven't you also suffered? As we Jews now enter the high holidays again, let us make up, Master of the universe. In spite of everything, yes, in spite, let's make up. For the child in me, it is unbearable to be divorced from you for so long. We wrestle with God, with life, with self, but God will not let us go. In the darkest of nights, God has blessed us. In God's darkest nights, God has blessed us. Our text says that the next day, Jacob walked on to meet his brother Esau. Esau saw his brother limping toward him. He watched Jacob bow 7 times in humility. Was this the first time ever such humility? Seeing him, Esau ran to meet him, grabbed him around the neck, and kissed him. Inexplicable grace. Esau wept to be holding his brother again. Jacob said, to see your face is like seeing the face of God. Then Jacob wept. I think of the table of the Lord in God's darkest of nights, the table we're about to share. Here we see the face of God. It is the face of suffering love, and it is the face of grace. And here we receive a blessing we need not deserve. It is pouring forth always from the heart of God. We come limping, and Christ, serving us bread and wine, says, welcome home. Amen.